In this video, I'll be discussing policies within a zero trust architecture. So if you want to start to move your business towards a zero trust model, or you're just interested in how the policies are different to traditional policies, hopefully you'll find this video helpful. Remember, zero trust is based on the idea of never trust, always verify. And this approach is really critical as businesses move towards more remote working and bigger cloud-based operations. First of all, understanding your digital environment. So in a traditional security model, you'll probably have an inventory of company assets, and it might also say things like who needs access to what resource. But under zero trust, it's about not only just understanding who needs access to what, but understanding under what conditions and why. It's about recognizing regular behaviors and being able to spot anomalies. This creates the basis for really granular context-based access controls that are really key to a zero trust environment. It's about getting a big picture view of everything. Zero trust policy development sets the rules for access. So the who, the what, the when, where, and how things are accessed. For example, your policy might state that only IT administrators can access certain servers. Because this is zero trust, it might also specify that access is only allowed from specific devices, during office hours, or when connected to a trusted network. Unlike traditional policies, zero trust introduces dynamic access controls, and this means that rules can be adjusted so they react to real-time context. For example, if a new threat was spotted in your network, access requests to the most sensitive resources could be denied, even if normally they would be granted. So something's happened in your environment, and this has caused a control to react or to enable itself to help protect the environment better. In a traditional environment, risk evaluation is usually done either periodically or in response to a specific event like a data breach. Risk scoring might involve assessing the overall cybersecurity risk to a business, but this score is usually used to guide the overall security strategy rather than make real-time decisions. In zero trust, both of these things are ongoing real-time activities. For example, if an employee requests access to a sensitive database, the system will take into account a variety of contextual factors, and then based on these factors, the system will calculate a risk score, and depending on the score, access is either denied or allowed. A zero trust model can use a variety of contexts to calculate risk. Some of them are fairly basic, like the user identity, location, time, the actual device, the application being accessed, and even things like behavioral attributes like access patterns or repeated login attempts. I've put some additional aspects that can be used to evaluate risk on the screen, so feel free to pause the video if you want to read the rest of them. Evaluation. So this is taking things one step further from just understanding your environment. This really allows you to prioritize protection strategies and allows you to sort of gather all the information needed for your access policies and risk scoring system. It's not just about identifying the assets and the access conditions. It's about looking at the importance of the asset, so the sensitivity and the risk associated with each asset. For example, you'd probably want to look into things like the type of asset. Is it hardware? Is it a server? Is it a workstation? Is it software? Is it an application? What information is stored on it? Is it personal data? Is it marketing material? And who uses it? Is it admins, C-suite? Is it everyone? And what are the impacts of a breach? So you really need to look at everything in depth. These things would usually also be considered in traditional cybersecurity policies, but with zero trust, this information becomes contextual. So it's integrated with the access control, meaning if there's a security alert, assets can be secured in real time. Governance in a zero trust model sets the strategic direction and establishes zero trust policies. It makes sure that the right access controls are in place and are being managed and reviewed by the right people. And compliance in a zero trust model involves monitoring and verifying that the procedures and access rules are being followed correctly. So compliance isn't just about checking access requests, it's about constantly ensuring that all the systems, processes, and behaviors are all following zero trust. Traditional cybersecurity models do perform compliance checks, but the frequency and the intensity and the scope of the checks in a zero trust model are much more comprehensive. Training and awareness is really about helping users navigate the dynamic nature of Zero Trust. So it's not really good enough to have traditional cybersecurity training, which usually just focuses on static rules and procedures. For example, if an employee finds that they're suddenly denied access to an application that they usually have access to because they're coming from a new location, they'll need to understand that this is the Zero Trust system reacting to a change in context, and they shouldn't just try to bypass the controls or assume that something's broken. With Zero Trust, improvement is always ongoing, so this is different to traditional cybersecurity policies, which are more likely to rely on major updates or overhaul cycles initiated by management. The entire Zero Trust model is based upon accurately assessing the risk of each access request in real time. So any new threats or new technologies needs to be updated in the Zero Trust model as soon as you can. So improvement and change is always ongoing. So to summarize, these processes that we've talked about can provide a foundation for businesses transitioning towards a Zero Trust architecture. However, keep in mind that transformation doesn't have to be an overnight shift. It can be a gradual, ongoing process. You can change things and upgrade things whenever the business is able to. Every organization is unique. While these steps provide a good framework to start the Zero Trust journey, you probably need to tailor specific requirements for your business. As always, if you have any questions or want to discuss anything further, please reach out using the email in the description below, and I'd be happy to help. Thanks for watching.